Okay, so now we're going to model this part. Okay, so this one, even though it looks like flat, okay, but when we are placing in our model here, it should be rounded a bit, right? Okay, so we will model it flat, then we will use a bend deformer to bend it, right? So first of all, I'm going to start with the cylinder. Okay, so the outer part we can use cylinder, the inner part we can use a sphere. Alright, so I'm going to start with cylinder. Click on the cylinder and click and drag. Okay, and then give some depth to it. Okay, here we cannot see in the perspective because it's starting from the middle here. Okay, so make sure you go to wireframe, then click and drag for the thickness. Okay, after you have the thickness, you move it out. Okay, start to draw from the front view, then you go to perspective or top view, you click and drag for the thickness, the height of the cylinder. Alright, once you have your cylinder, you make sure you place it in the middle of the grid by changing your translate X and translate okay, only the translate X. Okay, the Y and Z, if you change the Y, it will change the position of this. Okay, if you change the position of Z, it will go inside. Okay, we want it to be outside, so only the X, change it to 0. Translate X, change to 0, and you position nicely here, and you can scale it down, up or down, and also you need to increase the subdivision. So subdivision axis you put at a maximum of 50. Okay, if you want to increase more, you can just click here and then type. Let's say maximum, when I click on the subdivision axis, middle mouse button, click and drag in the viewport, you can change the value up to maximum to 50. If you want, let's say I want to put 500, you can straight away click here and then key in your value 500. Okay, we don't want 500, you just maintain as 50. Okay, now you can see our object, it has a small bevel at the edge here and over here. Alright, outer part and inner part. So I'm going to extrude this so that we can make it look like a ring, okay, instead of a solid cylinder. So I'm going to select face, select the middle part here, not the edges, not the sides, only the middle, by going to the front view. So just take a look. Okay, object mode, right click, face, click and drag here. Click and drag here. Okay, if I look at the perspective view, I get this. Okay, the sides don't select. Alright, right? Selected. Make sure it is face, not edge, not vertex. Alright. Then you go to edit mesh, extrude. Okay, extrude. Then you click on the cube once. Click at the cube once, click and drag from the middle. Extrude, done? No. Then extrude. From the front view, click the extrude. Okay, front view, right click, face, you select the faces, then you go to edit mesh, extrude, click the cube. There is an arrow, there is a cube, there is a circle. right? Click the cube once and let go. Click and drag from the middle. So when you track that, what happened here in the perspective, you have front and back, the same thing. Alright, then after that, I'm going to extrude again. Okay, just take a look first. I'm going to press G. Okay, and then I'm going to drag the blue color arrow so that it meets each other, something like that. Then I'm going to press R for scale, make it flat. Again, and then again, and then again, until the handle doesn't move. You see, it's not moving. Okay, that means it's totally flat. Then you press delete. Okay, I'm going to repeat here. I go to edit mesh, extrude again. Okay, and then you click and drag the arrow, the blue color arrow, so that it goes in a bit. Just goes in a bit. Then you press R for scale, make it flat using the blue color cube until the handle doesn't move. Then you hit delete. Alright, so we're going to make it slightly thinner. Okay, go back to object mode, press R for scale, and then you just scale it down a bit. Okay, alright, then another thing is that this edge, okay, it is not connected, right? If I choose the vertex, if I move it, I can see hole, right? Okay, so we need to merge this. Select the object, you go to edit mesh, merge option box, you put there 0.0001. Try to merge first. Okay, yeah, it's working. 0.0001. Okay, after you merge, okay, let's go back here. Okay, we need to make okay, before making the hole, I'm going to bevel the edges. Okay, so you right click, choose edge, double click, and the inner one also double click. Select these two edges, these two, double click, shift double click. Double click, shift double click. After you have selected the edges, you go to bevel. Okay, edit mesh, bevel option box. Okay, go to edit, reset the setting. Then you try to apply first. Okay, so this one, follow your preferences, how much you want to put. If not enough, you increase the value of the width, or here the fraction you can increase. Okay, maximum of 1. Okay, and you can reduce the value. Okay, so let's say I go back to here and then double check. Okay, 1 is fine for me. Okay, then close it, press Q for selection tool, go back to object mode. Okay, the segment I just use 1 only. Okay, if you increase the segment, it will be rounded. Okay, so if I go to poly bevel, segment. Okay, you see, if you increase the segment, it will become rounded, but we don't want rounded shape. Okay, so just maintain as 1. Okay, so and to make this holes, right? Okay, so there are a few ways. One, if you want to do a proper modeling, then you have to add more edges here, and then you make it a hexagon shape, then you extrude. Okay, another method is, let's say this object, we are not going to press 3, let's say. Okay, so we just leave it as it is. So we can use boolean option. Okay, mesh, boolean, you have this 3 different setting here. Let me just show you first. Let's say I have a sphere, and then I want to make a, the Death Star. Okay, I want to remove some of the part. Okay, so this is our object. The one I'm going to remove is whatever is intersecting. Okay, so select the one you want to keep, shift select the one you want to remove, and then you go to mesh, boolean, difference. So I have this. Alright, so that's one. And let's say I go to undo back. Okay, so if I want to remove whatever the intersecting part, okay, means I want to join this together, you can use union. Okay, boolean, you can click the dotted line on top here to keep the panel floating. Okay, select both, then use union. So whatever in between the one intersecting part, it's gone. Right, so this is union, and intersection is you want to keep whatever is intersecting. Okay, click intersection, you just have this. Okay, so sometimes a certain shape you can use this to create some whatever UFO shape or whatever. Alright, so if I want to make a hole over here, right, so I just duplicate first, I bring it here. Okay, so what I do, I create few more cylinder, then select this object, shift select that cylinder shape, then I go to difference. Right, so just to show you, if I come back here, I click and draw a cylinder, a small cylinder. Okay, make sure the cylinder is intersecting. Okay, it should be intersecting like this, and then position it properly. Okay, so let's say I want to put it in the middle somewhere around here. Okay, it should be here. Okay, and then I want to duplicate this around this object, so I need to move my pivot point, right? So I press insert, okay, and then I press V for snap to point. Okay, click the green color arrow here, and then I bring my cursor near to the midpoint of this cylinder. Let go, then insert again. Right, after that I go to edit, duplicate special, edit, reset setting. Okay, number of object, maybe let's say I want 6 holes, so duplicate to 5. So open up calculator, 360 divided by 6, 60 degrees. 60 degrees in which direction? X, Y, Z. Okay, that's Z is here, so it will be spinning around Z. Alright, okay, so X, Y, Z. The third one is Z, 60 degree. Where do I get the 60 degree? Divide 360 divided by Y6, because we want 6 items, right? Okay, but number of copies, why 5? Why not 6? We already have 1, right? So the additional is going to be 6. Then duplicate special. Alright, so if I look from the perspective, this is what I have, and First, select our object that we want to keep. Shift select the one we want to remove. Then difference. Okay. Select the object. Shift select the one we remove. Difference. Click first. Select. Difference. Click outside first. Select again. Right. Shift click. Difference. Click outside first. Deselect first. Then select again. Shift select. Difference. Okay. Let me just repeat one more time. Okay, I have got my object. I go to my front view. I go to cylinder. Draw the cylinder, a very small cylinder. Okay, and then you add your height of the cylinder so that it intersect with your object. It must intersect. If let's say I already draw a cylinder like this, I need to double check from other views whether it's overlapping or not. Okay, so now it is not overlapping, so I cannot do the boolean. Alright, so I need to move this in z-axis so that it's intersect. Then place it correctly where I want to put, let's say somewhere there. Okay, then I press insert key to move my pivot. While pressing V, I click and drag this arrow, the green arrow. Bring your cursor to the point that you want to align with. For now, it is here, not in the middle here. If you bring your cursor here, it is not snapping. You need to bring your cursor where you want to snap to. Okay, there is a reference point over here, middle of the ring. Okay, then let go. Then insert. Then only you go to duplicate special, option box, edit, reset setting, X, Y, Z, okay, 60 degree, 360 divided by 6, number of copies, 5, then duplicate special. Okay. Then select the object that we want to keep, shift select the one we want to remove, then difference, boolean, difference. Edit mesh, mesh, boolean, difference. Okay, click outside, select again, shift select, difference. Or you can press G also can. Okay, try. Is it done?
So it's the best to move the circle.
No, you don't move it. Yeah, from here you start to draw. You have 3, 6, 7, 8, 8 holes there. Okay, so but when you start to draw, you don't follow the reference, you put it in the middle of the grid. Okay, why? Okay, just take a look one more time. Okay, so if you draw a cylinder over here, okay, small cylinder, okay, and then I add the thickness, okay, it is overlapping, alright, overlapping, right? Okay, but when I want to align the pivot point, how do I align it? Okay, so how do I align the pivot point? Press insert, then press V, drag this thing to here, then how do I move it to middle? Here? Huh? While pressing B. B is for what? V is to snap to point. Okay, but here in the middle we don't have any point. If, let's say I press V, click and drag in X axis. Okay, this is not middle and this is not middle. You see, it is not snapping to the middle. Okay, but we have, this is our axis, right? I can snap it to grid. press X. While pressing X, I click and drag. You see? Got it? Okay. Then insert again. Then duplicate special. Make sure it is 8. Number of copies? How much? 7. The degree? The rotation degree? 60. 60.
Of 8? No. 45.
I don't know. I'm very poor at maths. 360 divided by 8.
We probably put it on the right axis. The cylinder.
Okay, just take a look for a while. Okay, so I'm going to create a cylinder. Okay, choose cylinder, click and drag first. Okay, then it says drag up to set the height. You go to different view to set the height. Okay, so make sure it is overlapping. If it is not overlapping, you move it in Z axis. To move your pivot point, you press insert in your keyboard. Insert in your keyboard, then press V, click and drag the green arrow. While pressing V, click and drag, and then bring your cursor in the middle of the ring. Bring your cursor here, then let go. After that, you press X, click and drag the red arrow. Then insert again. No? So what happened just now? Some of yours is still in instance. Yesterday we duplicate instance, right? For what object is that? So that when we edit one, the others will follow, right? Okay, so that setting still remains the same. So you need to go to edit, reset setting. Okay, then only you duplicate special. You set whatever attribute that you need to set. 45 rotation, number of copies 7, then you duplicate. Okay, sometimes, okay, I even myself also made a mistake. Okay, maybe I accidentally here, maybe I have 1 which I didn't see. Okay, translate X 1 I used previously, then next time I just change this 45 7 and then duplicate. It will be moving in some other direction. Okay, so make sure edit, reset setting. This is the only 2 value that we're going to change. Then straight away key in, then only you duplicate. Alright, so make sure if you made a mistake, undo back, then do it again. Okay, once you have this, select your object, the one you want to keep, shift select the one you want to remove, go to mesh boolean difference, click outside, select again, shift select, press G. G is for what? G is for group. Kalau group boleh lubang ke? G is for what? Repeat last used tool. Okay, the tool that I use last is boolean difference, right? So it will repeat that. Okay. Okay, now we're going to place the sphere. Is this done? It's a normal thing. Even in the industry, Hollywood movies makers, all that crash. So what you need to do, okay, if you are doing it for exercise for learning, no problem, you can repeat again. If you are doing for production with a tight deadline and everything, if everything crash, your hours of work is gone. Alright, so for that, what you do, okay, you go to Window, Setting, Preferences, you go to File, where is it? File Project. Okay, you have Auto Save. You check the Enable, and then how many minutes in between you want to save your file. Okay, so if I put 5, every 5 minutes it will keep on saving. Okay, there is a what company, I don't remember. One of my friend is a ex-student actually working there. They said their Maya is always crashed, so they put there 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes it will save automatically. Okay, so here let's say I put 5, save. So every 5 minutes it will save as another copy. So if I go back to my project panel, which is I think this is the one. Okay, so it will save in here. After 5 minutes, you can see there is some increments of files. Alright, so in case it's crash or anything, we still have a 5-minute backup. That is one, and another one is incremental save. If I go to File, I go to Save Scene option box. Okay, you have incremental save. If I check this, let's say I limit the incremental save to maybe, let's say 5 for example. This is an example 5. Normally we put more than that. Maybe 10, 20 is fine. Okay, let's say I put there 5. Every time I make changes in my scene, then I save. Okay, there is nothing to save. There is no changes to save. Okay, so let's say I move this, I save. And then I move this, I save. And then I snap to grid, save. Okay, so what happened in the project folder, go back to desktop. Okay, so you have another one folder. Inside the scene folder you have incremental save. Okay, when I open this, there's a folder there. You can see there is, every time I press Ctrl S or file save scene, you will have another one. Only 5. Okay, the 6th time I save, it will overwrite the first one. Okay, you can see the time now. It is 12:05 now, right? So we have 4 files there. If I save again, I move something and then I save. Now I have 5 files. Okay, the first file is 934. So if I make changes again, then I save. Here you can see the first, okay, it replaced the name, it becomes 6. Okay, because we set maximum is 5 files. If I change, go to File, Save Scene option box, the incremental I changed to 10. Okay, it will save 10 different files. Save, it will have the 7th. Save, it will have 8. Save, did I save it? No. Okay, 9. If I save again, 10. Okay, how many files I have? 9. Save. Now I have 10 items here. If I save again, it will increase the number, but number of files still the same. So this one snap to grid. Okay. Okay, now we're going to create the sphere for this class. Again, I'm going to use a sphere tool, polygon sphere. Okay, click and drag, make it bigger, and then you go to channel box, under input, subdivision axis. Let me see. Yeah, only the subdivision axis. I'm going to increase it to 50. then you move it, snap to grid in the x-axis, snap to grid in the x-axis, snap to point, follow the ring. Then you go back to your top view or your perspective, you bring it down, bring it out. Put a sphere over there, semi-sphere there. So, but we're going to scale it down. I go to top view, and then I press V so that I can align it to the middle of the ring here. Press V and then you move it so that you snap in the middle of the ring. Okay, then you scale it in this way, in Z-axis. And also from the front view, you scale it down using the middle scaling tool here. Okay, you drag down so that it will slightly bigger than the hole, so that you get something like this. You scale it down. Okay, earlier it was like this. You scale down a bit like this, so that you can see the bevel of the ring.
So I missed a step. It's the ring in the center. Yeah.
Already moved it, right?
Yeah.
You move snap to grid,
Yeah.
and then snap to point, right? Then you scale it from the top view.
Okay.
From the top view, you position first. You press W, you press V, drag the blue color arrow until it reaches to the middle of the ring, midpoint of the ring.
Yeah, that's right.
You can see the inner bevel. Okay, for the ring, you have a bevel outside and bevel inside, right? You want to see the inside bevel also, so that the sphere is not so big. Okay, so make the sphere smaller until you can see the bevel nicely. Okay, got it? Okay, so I'm going to copy this, duplicate these two objects, select both objects, go to the front view. Okay, Control D, you bring it down. Control D, move, and then bring it down. Then you scale R, you make it smaller. Then you can rotate. Then we're going to place it near to the body of the rocket. So I'm going to select these two objects. Okay, I'm going to group it. Control G to group. Okay, whenever you create a group, right, what happens is the pivot point of the group will always go to the center of the grid. Okay, whenever you create a group, the pivot point of the group will go to the center of the grid. So what you do, you go to modify, you click on center pivot. Okay, again select these two objects, right? I go to edit, group, or control G. Okay, so when I press W to move, I can see my pivot point is here. I don't want my pivot point to be here, I want the pivot point to be in the center of this object. So you go to modify, center pivot. Okay, now my pivot point is here. Do the same for the smaller object. Select to the ring and the sphere, control G to group, go to modify, center pivot. Okay, done. How do we select a group? How do we select a group? Control J. G. Control G is to make a group. To select a group, you select one of the member of the group, you press up arrow key in your keyboard. Or another way is outliner. Yes, you go to your outliner, you select the whatever group. So I have group 1, group 2 here. I can select from the outliner also can. Or if you want to select from the viewport, select one of the member, make sure you press up arrow key. For example, this one I already made a group, right? If I select both objects, am I selecting the group? No, you are selecting the two objects, not the group. Okay, you press up arrow key, you can see from the outliner, the blue color highlights. Okay, so if I click and drag the two objects are highlighted, not the group. So you press up arrow key. Up arrow key, then you move it closer to your object here. Okay, and this one also, press up arrow key, you move it closer to the object. So I'm going to go to my side view, something like that. Then I go to rotate, E for rotate, just aligning it a bit. You align it until the top part here touches a bit of the body of the rocket. Top part and bottom part touch a bit of the body part. Do the same for the body. Only the body you press 3. So that you see when I press 1 is somewhere else. When I press 3, the position changes. So press 3, then you move it. Press 3, then you move it. Rotate and move it. Done?
Press 3.
Press 3 for this object. Okay, then you position again from the side view. Okay, So make sure the top part here is touching, the bottom part also touching. Okay, the smaller part also same. Okay, if I go back to perspective, right? Okay, the top and bottom, this is fine. Okay, but here not okay, right? So what we do, we apply the bend. Okay, I'm going to select the group, make sure you select the group, then you go to, let's see, okay, I'm going to do it from here, go to deform non-linear bend. Okay, click on the bend, and then what happened here, I can't see. Okay, if I press 4 for wireframe, I can see there is a one green line there. That is your bend deformer handle. Okay, so we need to rotate this, something like that, and then change the value accordingly. So for example, when I rotate this, okay, so the one most is changing is rotate Z. Okay, I'm going to change this to 90, enter. Okay, after that, okay, you increase your curvature. Curvature is under input, bend 1 curvature. When I increase or reduce, right, it's moving in different direction, which I don't want that. Okay, so again you E for rotate, rotate in Y axis, also 90 degrees here. Rotate Y 90, rotate Z 90. Okay, then you adjust the curvature so that it touches nicely the side. So you press 5, then you adjust this, something like that. Okay.
It's non-linear bend.
Okay, I'm going to select the group. Make sure you select the group first, then you go to deform non-linear bend.
I have not box just bend.
Just bend, and then press 4 for wireframe. Okay, we don't want this rotation, so I'm going to E for rotate, rotate in Z axis, and then from the channel box change the rotation of Z to 90. After you change the rotation, then you try to increase the curvature. Okay, middle mouse button, click and drag. Okay, this is not the direction that I want, right? So you rotate again, rotate in Y axis. Okay, so that means here rotate Y 90, rotate Z also 90. Oops, what happened? Rotate X 0. Okay, rotate X 0, Y 90, Z 90. This is the rotation of the bend handle. Rotation Y 90, rotation X 0, rotation Z 90. Then you adjust the curvature. You press 5 to view in shaded mode. Then you adjust curvature. Click on the curvature. Then middle mouse button, click and drag. Okay, again. Okay, I've selected the group. Okay, I've selected the group. Then I go to deform non-linear bend. Okay, I can't see the bend handle, so I press 4. Alright, then I rotate, E for rotate, then rotate in Z axis, the blue color circle. Click and drag. So I know that from the outliner, the value that changes the most is the rotate Z. So I can put there negative 90. Right?
Blue one's rotated
in the channel box.
Yeah. It's supposed to be Z, is it?
Yeah, Z. Rotate Z. Put 90 or negative 90.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you increase the curvature for us to check whether it is correct or not. Okay. But when I try to bend it, increase the curvature, it is curving upwards, which I don't want that, right? We're supposed to bend inwards, right? Okay, so then I press E for rotate again. Then now I adjust the green color circle. Okay, the green circle. Green circle is rotate Y.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you straight away go to your channel box. You change the rotate X to 0, rotate Y to 90, rotate Z to 90. Enter. So before I see this small object, I just to show you again. Okay, so this is my body. You see it's touching a bit on top, touching a bit at the bottom. Alright, so when it's nicely aligned, then only when you bend it will sit nicely on the sides as well. Okay, so for example here, press 5. Okay, select my handle, go to channel box, under input, bend 1, curvature. Okay, so you just adjust so that it looks equal all the side. Okay, if you can't control using your mouse, okay, you just roughly put it first, then you can key in any value. So 33 32.0, let's try. Okay, or maybe 31. Okay, or maybe 30. Okay, I can check by changing the value here. Okay, select the objects group, make sure you select the group, go to deform, non-linear, bend, change the rotation X to 0, Y to 90, Z to 90, then increase the curvature. Okay,